What's up? Nobody yet. It's JNOIR. Okay, I'm gonna let some people roll up in here. Matter of fact, we'll play some music in the meantime. Or do you got some music you want to play, dude?
Yeah, I can jam some. I got a little B.O.B. over here. I better let you play it, bro. I might
music, and just until we see about a few people come in, but and I apologize for anybody who's going to be watching this later and you get that little blank area, but we're just going to let about 5 people come in here so it doesn't feel like we're talking to dead air. Oh, I like this tune a lot. Hold on. What's up, guys? Coming in. Oh wait, let me open up the chat room too so we can see what the fucking business is.
Hey, are you hip to a guy named Mike Love?
Mike Love, does he do beats?
I went and seen him up in Indianapolis the other week, like 2 weeks ago. He does he's like reggae music. Mike Love, a song called "Permanent Holiday." Beautiful, bro. Speaks about what we talk about, you know, in his music.
All right, here we go. We got 5 people on. I think this is enough for me to say what I need to say. And again, I really apologize to everybody for just starting out so late. Oh, look, Jamie's on. We got AJ, Alice,
James,
Rhea, and I guess I'm saying that right. And this other person, an ornery independent. Yes, and I see all these people all the time. So, hey, guys.
welcome.
No strangers in here today, which is good. This message is for you lot. Greg Silverado in this bash. Are you watching the chat too?
Yeah.
All right, cool. We got 10 people on. Let me start off by saying this. Let me turn this music down a pinch. I just want to go ahead and make a formal apology to every freaking body for my attitude as of late. My heart is still in the right place. I've just been frustrated with a few things, and I've let the frustration sort of take me to a place that has been less than cordial or less than positive here on YouTube. And that's for many reasons. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that I feel like we're kind of going in circles, and I never intended on this thing being stretched out so long. I thought maybe like I would quit my job, jump on YouTube, go outside, say, everybody, our government and high elites are like raping kids, and then everyone would be like, are you serious? And then everybody get involved, and then we just like mass march to Washington and knock everything over on the way there. And it hasn't gone that way. And then even coming out with new stuff, you got a bunch of trolls coming in, and then there's a lot of, it's hard to tell sometimes the difference between a well-disguised troll and a well-confused somebody with a good heart. So I try to reply to everybody, and it's led to just mad frustration on my end. And I think it shows sometimes. So let me just apologize for that, first of all, because that was never my intent. And I've lost some viewers, which is fine. I mean, it doesn't, you know, I don't, again, it doesn't matter to me the sub count at all. I would prefer to have 100 awesome, loving viewers than 10,000 people who just barely care and are just watching for the shit of it. So anyway, real quick, I've got Dave, Gentle1111Chaos on. Dave, say what's up.
Thanks for having me on.
And I did an interview with him a while back that never got published because it was like just bad connection that we had. And
Yeah.
And also we were just kind of like just rambling. I mean, it wasn't like a bad interview. It just like, it needs to be presented in a better fashion. So so I've got him back on again today. And today's message is this. We're still on the revolution thing, obviously, as you can see by the title. But you know, and I want to apologize also because I've been sort of saying, you guys aren't doing shit. Nobody's doing anything, right? But like myself, and probably where you can relate, we really don't know what to do right now, right? I think this is the first time that many of us have come into a place where we need to eliminate things from our government that, like, I mean, we've read about revolutions in history, but I think this is the first time that any of us, obviously, because I haven't heard about a revolution that I'm aware of here in this country, but so we really don't know what to do. And so I think that's part of their frustration too. And I'm probably taking that out on random people who are getting their feelings hurt, hearing me say, you're not doing shit. And it's not like, I'm the one who needs to decide what to do. However, if you guys are watching my channel, I might as well start making suggestions as I'm sitting around thinking about it. So part of where I'm at, and the reason, especially the reason why I got Dave on, I'm gonna let him go on in a minute, but I just want to go ahead and get to the crux of the matter. And that is, you know, I get some comments where like for instance, I can't remember her name, but there's someone who reached out to me and said, hey Jay, I like what you're saying, but I'm also at home. I'm in a wheelchair and I, you know, don't have much money and I don't know how I'm going to be able to help much. And then I realized, like, well, I mean, you type this long comment, you know, you can help. I'm not really being specific here, but you know, I also need people to make suggestions. But for someone like that, you know, they can go online, and going back to the sending out the letters to all these government officials and stuff like that, they can go online and make a list for the rest of us to, you know, send these letters in, or places that we need to go march on or something like this. And then also people like Dave. Dave's out pretty much every day handing out flyers, doing bumper stickers, and just trying to raise awareness in his local community. So we need about 500 more Daves right now. And we need about 4 Daves in every major city, 2 in every little town.
Man, I don't know if the town would last, bro, if we had that, you know. Dave's got his good times, he's got his rough times too. You know, for the ones you spoke of, real quick, I'd just like to mention, as there are trolls on here, you know, when you know of something to be a truth in your own experience, like people that know that Pizzagate is actually happening in the world, like online, if all you can do is get online and support what you know is the truth. So when you see trolls on people's pages and whatnot, just tearing people out the frame, get on there with them and you know, just try to shine some light on them. And because it's hard to do from your position to do all that. And so to have people that,
you know, oh, sorry.
Yeah, does that make sense?
No. Yeah, you're absolutely right, because there are times when, like, and again, if you guys read my comments, I am extremely I mean, yes, I'm embarrassed about the fact that I'm in here like, let's spread light, guys. And then you see me in the comments and somebody's like, fuck you, Jay, you're a shill. And I'm like, fuck you, you piece of shit, I'll beat your ass, you know. And it just doesn't look like I'm trying to shed light. But also it's like, you guys, a lot of people don't really understand what it's like to turn on your phone or your computer in the morning and see you've got 30 freaking comments where you're being called an asshole and a shill and a Jew and a pedophile. Like, Dave, how many times have you been called a pedophile in the street handing out flyers?
I mean, I lost count. I know at least 6 times I can remember that were they you know, it's heartbreaking, bro. And I'm out there attempting to do something that I see as an injustice in the world, and to go out there and be called the very thing that I'm attempting to expose, you know, that hurts me in the heart, man. It's like, shit, I'm out here for everyone's kids, not just for my own kids, but everyone. And then, you know, to have that said, it's you know, that can be, and then I just grow from there. I grow from it. You know, it sucks to hear it, and it's like, okay, let me have that help make me stronger, because I know that individual, whatever's saying that with inside of them is, I know that ain't feeling good, and that ain't feeling, that ain't taking their power back. You know, that's just taking me down for no reason. And so, you know, I just ask people to take a look at that, man. It sucks.
Yeah, you know, and a lot of it is, like, I think with these, like, okay, we've all got X amount of hours in a day. I think we've all got 24. And within those 24 hours, you have X amount of energy, X amount, right? So I think that the goal of these trolls is to a portion of those 24 hours to prevent you from doing anything positive. So arguing with the troll in the comments is definitely taken away from any sort of positivity I could have been creating that day. I'm finally starting to wake up to the idea and remembering, like, first of all, thank every freaking body. Let me see who's in the damn chat right now. Yes, thank you every freaking body who has rode with me and put up with the freaking bad attitudes and the off days and whatever, because you guys mean so freaking much to me. Like, this whole, I don't know, I apologize to you because it seems like I forget about you, right? I don't thank you enough at the same time while I'm cussing the trolls out, you know? And that's my mistake. Like, great, I need to remember, and I went through these phases, like, you know, it's a 6-month process that I've been talking about this stuff, but in the beginning, I met people, and then trolls came in, and but then I was like, fuck the trolls, I'm gonna focus on you guys. And then here it is, you know, 5 months down the road, I'm back focusing on trolls. And I'm gonna say that, like,
Energies
they don't even
manipulate, man.
matter. Like, the people who care are the only ones that really matter. And I do want to apologize for the time that I've taken from you guys, because like it's so unproductive, you know. And I'm over here bitching and complaining about being non-productive, and really I'm a huge source of it. So I don't know why I keep saying sorry. I've just had an epiphany over the last couple of days, and even talking to someone like Dave. Dave is like so good. Like when we're texting, right, and we talk about the trolls, Dave will say something like, well, the trolls is a good opportunity for me to
Practice
my patience or strengthen my love and forgiveness. And I'm like, wow, dude, that's deep, because I thought it was a way for me to flex my strengthen my smart ass bone and learn how to cuss better. But damn, you're so right.
Yeah, it is, bro. I mean, it's a way to, I guess it's all a choice, you know. They're choosing to do that in life. So how am I going to choose to, will I react to it? And when I react in life, it really gets me to places that I don't want to be, or will I respond to it? You know, and respond comes from being responsible. And the only way that I could go about being totally responsible is to, I don't even really acknowledge them anymore, man. It's like, you know, you choose to be that way, I'm going to choose to be this way and attempt to continue to move forward. Don't poke at the things in there, because some of the stuff they say can be pretty hurtful. I know it's coming from a place of hurt within inside of them. So with that, I can easily step away from it and not let it affect me in that moment. And then the next moment comes, and it's like something even sharper comes, and it's like, shit, it's a practice. Excuse my language. It's a practice, and you know, you're doing great, brother. You're acknowledging it right here. That's the first step of walking out of it. We have to acknowledge anything that sits in front of us before we're able to walk through it. We have to acknowledge it's there. So I commend you for
similar to the pedophile thing. Is like we have to first, you know, people need to accept that it exists before we can remove it. You know?
Absolutely, brother.
Okay, so the message here today, and again, I've sort of touched on it earlier, was that in order for us to create this army, and I'm going to like leave the violent aspects of the revolution out of it right now, because hopefully it will never ever come to that. Hopefully, if millions of us stand up in the street, they won't, and I mean they, you know who the fuck I'm talking about when I say they. Hopefully they will see that they are fighting a losing battle. And, you know, and again, we'll have to worry about that when we come to that.
Yeah.
Right now we have no idea our numbers. We have no idea our capability. So
you got some great comments in here, brother, from some of your people, man. I mean, they understand it. The one says they're just low vibrational. Independent says they're just low vibrational beings trying to make us low vibrational beings as well. And that's exactly right. I mean, that's exactly right. She hits the nail on the head. And I see a lot of good comments in there about it. But that's exactly what they're doing. They're here to keep our vibration down, because when we hit a certain vibration, bro, all this nonsense is going to end. It just ends. I don't know how it ends. I don't know if it's quick. I don't know if it's slow, but it just ends. And so that's why it's our responsibility to each individually just raise our own vibrations. And then that goes into a collective. And when that collective reaches a point, it'll just end like that, bro. And I think we'll see an age of beautiful things, bro. Our trip through that, who knows what that's going to be, though, you know?
Right. So, you know, the message here is this, you know, beyond the praying and meditating that we all do toward this cause, you know, I want everyone to understand that, like, we can all literally pitch in together. Like, and I know this is new for everybody, so it's hard to just like, okay, cool, let's go do it. And then you put your shoes on and you step outside and you're like, wait, what are we doing exactly? Because I don't know exactly all of the steps that it takes to create this either. But I know that it's going to take group efforts, right? So everybody going out passing out flyers isn't exactly the thing. And again, there's like some people that are in wheelchairs, there's some people that got kids or jobs, and they want to be involved, but they can't exactly afford the same amount of time or physical effort that some others can, like Dave or myself. You know, we're not really working right now, and we can, whoa, dude, I'm sorry to interrupt. Greg Silverado just brought up Carlos Castaneda's Spiritual Warrior. Greg, I have read all of Carlos Castaneda's books. This dude is intense, man. He's like one of my favorite authors, period. This guy has some serious knowledge, and he puts it into a fictional way, but he's like stuffing facts in there. Anyway, back to the point. Damn it, I got to get off this chat because I'm like so ADD with it. But anyway, my point is, let's just look at it like this, right? Let's say that, you know, my plan is this. I want to set up a few different chat rooms, okay? And then at the, not the heads, because I don't want it to, there's no leaders essentially. They're just people who are like put into certain positions to fill this role, okay? So I want to set up one chat room that is designed around just people that go out in the street, right? So if there's anybody who's in whatever town you're in, let's get you logged into the chat room. That, and I hadn't even thought of a name for it, you know, like what, like you guys help with all of this, okay? Again, as you can see, none of this is set in stone. And I think there are books that is like a guide to anarchy or guide to revolution or whatever, which would be a good place to start. But I mean, just as far as raising awareness, let's say that 10 people who can't really get out and do much physical stuff volunteer, right? And so we create a small chat room for them. And within this chat room, they're organizing. They're designing some fundraising projects. They're designing, gathering the addresses and things like that, right? And then you have another section, like another chat room, where you have people who go out in the streets, right? And let's say that, like Dave lives in St. Louis and I live in Atlanta. So I'm just, since I know the boroughs and stuff here in Atlanta, let's say that I'm going to go out one morning, right? And I'm going to go out and pass out flyers. So I would get up, look in the chat room, look for the Atlanta guys, who's going out to pass out flyers today. Okay, what area are you going to? Now we could go to the same areas, or we could like collab and say, okay, I'm going to go to Buckhead. Okay, cool. I'll go over to the 4th Ward and you go over here, and we just attack the city like that. And it doesn't, I mean, to me, that's actually becoming something huge, because see, at the other end of these flyers, let's say you pass out 100 flyers and 2 people respond, right? Okay, well, that's another 2 people now that we've added to. So now instead of having 3 people pass out flyers, we've got 5 people. And so every day, let's say we add another person to this, and then that person adds another person, and then those people add another person. That builds up very fast. And again, as we're getting these people together and we're setting up these chat rooms, then some people are obviously smarter than myself. And some people are going to have a better idea of where we can go with this. But we have to first join together. And also, these June 10th protests, I know Dave's doing one. And God, Truth is Forever, I think. Yeah, I can't remember her YouTube name. I don't think she wants to put her name out there. But anyway, she and I are doing the one here in Atlanta. And I encourage everyone to go there. And not because you think you're going to roll up to this protest and then the government's going to be like, whoa, you know, 50 people showed up at the park today. We better shut everything down and end all these pedophile programs. It's not that. But what you're going to do when you get there is everyone needs to be interacting with one another, joining the community, exchanging numbers, exchanging emails, being friends, because this is how we're going to leave being names and Helvetica font all over the internet with one another to actually being a face and a person that, if the power went out, you've got a group that you can find in your local area that is who you're going to band up with.
You know, who care, you know, who care enough.
Right. So we're going, so again, I'm reaching out to everyone, and also I encourage everyone to, and I know a lot of people aren't really into putting their information, you know, especially in the comments or whatever, but you guys go into the comments, and everybody who watches this, please, I encourage you to go into the comments and just put the region of the world you live. Like if you're comfortable with putting the city you live in, that's great. But if you're in Northeast United States, if you're in Australia, if you're in New Zealand, if you're in Europe, you know, just put that in there so we can start grouping people together and creating different subsections of the big group, so that we can actually, you know, just start to at least figure out where we stand. And start to at least do a head count, figure out how many numbers we've got going on, and we can build from there. And again, when we get in these chat rooms, there's going to be a lot of people with great ideas, and you can hear me rambling. I can't even get it out. So there are a lot of people that are a lot more well-spoken, that haven't really felt the bravery, or they feel like a little self-conscious, you know, about going out or speaking on YouTube. But you know, just like Dave, it's like Dave really just started speaking out on his YouTube channel. But if you hear him speak, he's so damn well spoken. You know, it's like, where have you been this whole time? So, and the same thing for all of you guys watching. I'm sure there are very many of you people that are watching this that have so much to offer that you don't even understand it, and yet you doubt your own capability or the amount that you can accomplish in this. But you know, a lot of people talk to me like I'm some sort of dude to set an example, and I'm just like you. I'm just like, what? You know,
Let's talk about last night, Jay. When we were talking about, I think you brought up a great point when we were talking last night, and that was about the lady at the grocery store. You know, like what we can do, like in these as individuals in these jobs we may have, or if there's a message to be spread, what's something that I could do in my line of work? And Jay Noir brought up brought up a great point and said, you know, if you're someone that's in a grocery store, imagine what could happen if you took just 10, 15 flyers and stuck them in all the free magazines before you walk out the door. You know, that is spreading awareness. Like, who knows who's going to open that magazine up? And I'm under the understanding that there is such a divine thing that is running this, that exactly who needs to open that book up will open that book up and see that. And you never know who they're going to be. They may be an event organizer, and they see this thing and they're like, wow. And then they see that this is going on in the world, and then they put the two and two together, and now we have an event organizer that knows that Pizzagate or Pedogate or the things that are happening with these kids is going on. And so now that event organizer, we know exactly their role. They're going to organize the events. And so that was a good point you brought up. I just wanted to say that.
No, yeah, totally. And I forgot. I'm glad you brought that back up, because yeah, that shit is huge. Just like, oh fuck, I can't even expound on that. You know, it's perfect, because yeah, again, the person who's sitting, until you hear that idea, you think that working at a grocery store, you're totally like, sorry, I can't. I'm going to be at work all day. I can't do anything. You have no idea who's going to pick up a magazine, especially if you put like 20 in there per day, right? So then, huge. It's just so huge, and you could do it anonymously. You know, nobody even sees you put the flyers in there. Nobody knows who did that, and you can still, you know, if you want to keep your name, and then, and I say this echo chamber a lot, and that's because on YouTube we're obviously going in circles. It's not that we're going in circles. It's just that the people who would have stumbled into this line of YouTube were already on to the 9/11 attacks. They're already on to, you know, conspiracy in general. Yeah, they're already awake, but there are other people who have hearts that are just as big or even bigger, that are just out of the loop. You know, they
believe it at all.
Yeah, so when they go and, you know, somebody, you know, all of you guys, could you imagine if you never heard of this before and you picked up, you know, creative loafing, and then like out of it fell a little flyer, and you read the flyer, and then you followed the links on the flyer, or you Googled the things that the flyer suggests, and I don't know, you just went down that rabbit hole. Could you, you know, it's huge. And also, I want people to, like, I've typed my own flyer up, and I'm pretty sure Dave did too, unless he's using the one that did you type your own?
No, we made
are you the one Howie uses?
No, we made because we were making it up for the St. Louis area specifically, so we wanted to throw some stats of what was going on in the St. Louis area, so it would be more attention grabbing than something that was going on in Philadelphia or Washington D.C. You know,
right? And I want also, as people, like, you don't like, wording on the flyer isn't correct, then nobody's gonna read the flyer, you know. And so I want people who are actually just really good at speaking and writing to come in and type up a flyer for us, you know, type up a flyer, leave a blank spot at the bottom so we could fill in stuff for each city.
Yeah.
Just the overhead, just type something beautiful. You know, if you're good at that, just imagine how important that 2-paragraph or the 1-paragraph thing you type, because this is the thing that we're presenting to people. Otherwise, it's just a white piece of paper. And if you put on there, kids are being raped, fuck off, you know, nobody's going to read that, right? So if you word it in a way that is very peaceful and
grabs their heart, it's got to grab their heart.
Yeah. So again, everyone can do a part, and again, you really have no clue. Like, let's say that all you did was type up a beautifully written flyer. You could have had one of the biggest roles in all of this if it's right and people respond to that correctly. And then people like Dave and I are just handing out your words, and people are responding to your 2 paragraphs. You know, so that's how small, or let's say everything's like a seed and what it can turn into, and everybody can make such an impact, whether it be from your computer, whether it be from your job, or whatever it is. You just have no clue. And again, just like Dave said, if you go to work and you put those flyers into a creative loafing, yeah, it could be an event organizer come up and just pick this up and just hit them home. And this could turn into someone who's got links all over the country. Next thing you know, you've got events and protests, you know, much larger than these June 10th ones we got coming up, just because the right guy picked up this thing that you nonchalantly laid into the magazine. I mean, it's just huge, you know.
Absolutely, bro.
I'm gonna slide over to the chat right quick and just see if anybody's got any questions or comments they want to put in.
Yeah. I would like to say real quick also, along with that, like that's like you said, that's such a, it seems like a small thing, but just someone sitting down and using their abilities to do that. And so on the other side of that, like there's so many apps out there. Like I know there's a lot of graphic designers to start creating some things that first and foremost have some positivity to them, and that are shining the light on things like these memes. Like memes are so important because they go out there and in very little words they get a point across. Like we have so many memes that are coming that are like saying that the stuff that we're looking at, it ain't true. And so to be able to put positive stuff, anybody that has any type of gifts, talents, and abilities doing that, you know, start creating these things and putting them out there, because they travel the internet. They don't just disappear until they do. And until they do, they travel to the internet and people's eyes are seeing them. And so this waking up process is, it's on us all. We all have this responsibility to find our gifts, talents, and abilities and utilize them to help the rest of the people wake up, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm inviting Jamie over here.
Yeah.
He's logged on too. He said he's on his lunch break.
Awesome.
But yeah, I'm going to do some interacting here with the,
Jamie just created the trifold for the Pizzagate thing. He did an awesome job. He can probably show it. I think it's done now.
Dude, and then there's another great example. Jamie Dlux is just a fucking guy like us, right? Who has also started a channel, who's also heavily involved in all the chat rooms. He's created his own chat room. And also I want to say that for now, as we're organizing all of this, the Truth Gang chat room, I gave it to Anons, and it's a long story, but basically there was some shit going on in there and everyone was getting offended, and I just got so pissed off that everyone was coming to me, make it like I was said in there when I wasn't even there. So I was like, fuck it, you guys just take ownership of it. I kind of regret that now, because I don't even talk to that group of Anons anymore, and now I can't really do anything within the chat. I can't kick people out or really invite people the same way I want to, or make people mods. So basically the Truth Gang chat, I would like for everybody from the Truth Gang chat to migrate over to the Truth Army chat, which is Jamie's chat. And then from there is where we're going to, but anyway, going back to the point, Jamie Dlux, he runs the chat room. He posts here on YouTube. He has a job. He pretty much does the graphics for like 70% of the people that are involved in this that I'm aware of, you know, like, and again, it's just one dude. So what, does anybody else know how to do Photoshop? Does anybody else know how, I mean, it's just, I just want to say that all of it's huge. Every small thing is huge. And then when one person is doing 3 or 4 or 5 small things just themselves, you know, that's a great example for people to just follow, you know?
Yeah.
And again, when I do these other chat rooms, I want Dave, because Dave's like a lot more patient than I am. And I think that his words are honestly a lot more encouraging, because he speaks from love, whereas I get triggered quite easily. And so I think that when we get in there and we design these different chat rooms, and you got this one chat room, which I don't know what we're going to call it, but the guys who go out and beat the street, you know, I really want Dave to be spearheading that movement. And again, it's not that he's anything different from the other people. Someone used this example that even when like a laser, I think it was a laser that they said, but like photon, you know, photon like laser or whatever.
Yeah.
Each particle is the exact same energy as the first one, as every other particle. However, there is a particle that's in the front. So they're all exactly the same, but one is just put into that role of being a leader. And I think that Dave's a really good leader for this type of thing. But you know,
I appreciate that, brother. And then I encourage everyone else to know that that leader is in there. Like I went through leadership training. So I've walked in for a number of months. I went through this leadership training, and so I've walked in it and I've seen, and it's still, to walk through the fear is the most powerful thing, because I may have some of this training, but it's the fear that each one of us can have is the very thing that's going to propel us into the next stage of our evolution, whatever that is. You know, so I encourage everyone to look within inside of you and know that you're a leader. Like, we're all leaders in our own right. And I want someone to come and take that from me so I can go do the next thing, you know, because there's never nothing to do in this. There's children that are being methodically plucked from our arms, and friggin' bad things are happening to them. And it's the social structure. it's in our social structure. So there's never a lack of something to do. You know, it's just a matter of walking into it. And so I encourage everyone to look into the mirror and look into your own eyes and see that leader that's inside of you, because it is in there. I promise you that.
Right.
I'm gonna go use the bathroom real quick, brother. Right back.
I'm gonna put on some music and check out the hold on, let me get Dave out of here for a second. But anyway, let me check out the chat, throw on some tunes for a second. Sorry that I'm playing this ambient jam, but I really like this stuff. It's super relaxing. And what the hell? I sent a link over here. Nobody came on. What the hell? What's happening with you guys? Hey, Corey, this guy is Gentle1111Chaos, the guy I mentioned yesterday. Yeah. I love all you freaking guys so much. And I apologize to somebody who's watching this later on, because I'm just looking over here in the chat right now. So just bear with. And if anybody wants to volunteer to take these interviews and trim them down to size, just cut the fat out and leave it up for people, that would be great. But honestly, I don't feel like doing it. And again, and I don't know why I keep harping on this, but all of my YouTube videos combined have totaled $1.50 in ad revenue. Not even $1.50. I think I'm $1.20, right? I didn't see all of them, Goose, but what's up, dude?
What up?
Hey man, turn your phone.
Fix this.
Yeah, but oh yeah, you gotta turn it straight, then come back. There you go.
Yeah. I'm in my car. You know.
What's up, buddy?
Not much, man. Just trying to keep up with you guys while running errands.
Yeah, and if you guys don't know who Jamie is yet, this is Jamie Dlux. You've heard his name a lot. This does the graphics for everybody, and also has his own channel. And, you know, Dave and Jamie and Majestic Angel and Trey, or Ghost rather. There's a lot of people that were just like just, you know. And I'm not going to say my core group of friends, but they were the core of the first people that I communicated with. But the core keeps getting larger and larger, and like there's just so much freaking love within this community. I can't believe that I've wasted so much time cussing and shit at the stream. It's like,
well, you can't let it sit in there though. You got to let it out. That's how.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Yeah, I mean,
but, you know, oh god, there was something else that I was gonna say. Shit, I totally forgot. Oh yeah. And I've been talking about throwing Molotov cocktails and shit lately. It's like,
yeah.
Let me just first say this. That's the last fucking resort. Like, we don't want to do that. I've already said it earlier, and we all know that. Like right now, if 10 of us went out and fucking started throwing Molotov cocktails, first of all, it's gonna fucking discredit the community. We're all gonna wind up in jail, and that's what they freaking want. You know, this is So I do apologize for letting my anger get to me and come out my mouth, because that's not the direction we need to head. Don't get me wrong now. If we get the army together and they try to, you know, stand up and shut us down, then we have to do what we have to do. But we're not going to talk like that right now, especially on YouTube.
You go through from here.
Right. So what we're going to worry about right now is our community growing. And growing in a local level and not just on the internet.
That's what I'm saying. I need a local level. Like, I'm connecting with all these people, and it's amazing, you know. And having people contact me, and I'm getting them in, just like we all are. But I need some local peeps, man. I'm alone here, really, you know.
Dude, I feel the same way, and that's what I was saying to you know, and you could totally relate. But I was telling Dave last night when we were talking. It's like, it's very lonely. Like, let's say that we were in a gymnasium, right? And there's 100 people in the gymnasium, right?
Yeah.
We're all in there just hanging out, and then this police officer comes in and he's like, everybody get your IDs out and get up against the wall, right? Well, I gotta say, I'll probably be one of the very first people to say, fuck you. What the fuck
yourself?
And it's a lonely place to be that guy, right? But other people got to stand up too. Yeah, what the fuck are we doing against the wall? You know what I mean? And then as we continue to buck that part, people will see that and jump in and be a part of that, you know. So again, it's very lonely to be the first guy to say fuck you system out loud, but you know, we have to continue to be on that path, because other people will see, you know, that fire and jump into that fire, and then it turns into 5 you guys in the gymnasium. But the sad part is, and Dave and I were talking about this last night too, is that when you get over there and you're like, fuck you, you know, And you're like, hold on a second. And then there are going to be some people in the gymnasium that are like, let the dude do his job. Let the officer do his job. And you're like, what the hell? You are a fucking traitor. You don't even know it, but you're being a traitor to your own kind right now, you know?
Yeah. Well, the way I see
so anyway, I just want to say that, like, you know, people like Jamie and myself and Dave here, you know, Jamie's in Myrtle Beach, I'm in Atlanta, and Dave's in St. Louis. So if anybody's in those 3 towns that want to join us in this thing that we're doing every day, please reach out in the comments and say, hey, I'm in Atlanta. Hey, I'm in St. Louis. You know, like, come over in the Truth Army chat. Jamie, send me a link to that later so I can put it in the description here.
Will do. I'll make you a moderator. I thought I did.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how to,
sorry, I didn't even know that. You never told me.
I don't know. I don't know if I did or not. I really don't know anything about this chat shit. I'm just doing the best I can, you know.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to mess with. Dave, turn your mic on, man. What are you doing?
I was pressing it, bro. I couldn't. It wouldn't work.
Yeah, well, I had muted it first, and then
okay.
And then
I got excited when I saw my 2 friends up.
What's up, brother?
Yeah, I love talking to Dave, man. I'll have a bad day or whatever, and Dave would just hang out with me out of the blue, and I'll talk to him, and we'll be on the phone for like 45 fucking minutes, and we totally get each other.
That's what it's about. That's what we're here for. We're here to. This is one of the hardest topics. Like Ghost X is in the chat. She said this is a very hard topic to talk about. This is probably the hardest topic to talk that one could possibly talk about with anybody, and that is children being done like this, being molested, being raped, because it's our community has went through this. A lot of people have experienced this in their own lives, and the first thing they're told not to do is don't you talk about this.
Yeah.
So that's why we're running into this, bro. It's hard to talk about. So to have each other to lean on, man, it's very important to have.
Dude, you guys need to understand too that, like, Dave just started speaking on his channel. He's like the hey, what's up? Go fuck yourself. But no, he's like he's one of the most, I don't know, he's like our little gem within there, because I too go to Dave for encouragement, and it's like
he's got, I don't know. Well, me and Dave have a similar past too, which I think made us stronger. You know, when you beat that shit, you can pretty much face anything. But this is hard, man. It causes depression, anxiety, and it's good to have other people to talk to that are in similar positions. You know.
Absolutely, brother. Yes.
And plus, I get bitched at all the time at home about it because I cannot help. It gets in my way at work. It gets in my way at home because I cannot help that. What really matters anymore if this is happening? But I got to find balance, and I have to still have that family life and that work life. But it is hard because it's always on your mind, you know.
Right. I want to real quick. Let me just say one thing. And whoever, like the person who sent that original letter to the government thing, apparently they haven't heeded my call where I lost the freaking email. I don't even remember their name, because sometimes, like, especially, and which is why I'm really glad that I know you guys so much, and why I encourage people who are reaching out to me, like Rhea and whomever, is like, I see you guys' thumbnails, and then the rest of it is you exist in Helvetica. Everybody looks the same if you think about it like that, just different names.
I like that.
Yeah, so once you get into, and we start talking on the phone, oh, now you got a voice. Oh, now you got a face.
Yeah.
To me, it helps strengthen the bond, you know. So anyway, so that's why I apologize to the person who sent me the original letter. I think they were Australian, and it was a letter that they wrote to their parliament, but it was more like just a broad letter that can be used everywhere. And that letter was beautifully written. And I think this should be the letter that is sent out to all these government officials. But since that person hasn't spoke back up, and I can't seem to find the email, I don't even remember what it was titled, but please, someone help me with this, because, you know, I'm in the midst of a project here, but I don't have that letter to send, and I'm not going to be the guy to type it, because that's just not my role. As you can plainly see, when I keep stumbling over in my sentences and shit here, I'm not a linguist at all, you know.
I'm making the brochure, and I'm not like conceited about it. I'm a very good graphic designer. I've been doing it for years. That's fine. A writer, although I am a writer, I'm published. Poetry is different. You don't need
poetry,
structure and poetry. Yeah, I'm a published poet, and I'm writing this.
Yeah, you're a songwriter, poet.
It's not the same thing though. Like sentence structure and everything's not the same for me. My mindset. My mindset's just like all over. So yeah, I have, like, you know, Pizzagate House helping us. Dave's putting forth info. We got all these girls in this other group that they've been helping, but I think the girls are helping because they can write better than me, you know? That's what I'm saying. Everybody's included too. There's no, in your body, there's no boss. It all works together.
Oh, hey, you know what? Somebody in the Rosalind Woods, I've never even seen her before, but she's a cinematographer, and this is brilliant. And let me just like message to her and anyone else who's involved in this.
Yeah.
First of all, even before the Pedogate thing, I had already written a script that was a message of truth that was disguised in a film that looks like it was a fake reality film. Okay, and Dave and I were talking last night, and there are people who have made recent documentaries, and basically, I think through film and documentaries, this is another way that we can start reaching an audience that is never going to stop and talk to Tattoo Dave walking down the street, never going to stop and talk to Jamie walking down the street, but they will watch a movie on TV. They will watch a movie on Netflix. They will watch a movie. So we need to figure out how to reach people in their own homes. And like, again, with this film thing, the documentaries, some people don't even watch documentaries, which is where you got to come in with a fictional film. But anybody, like, I really don't have the funding, but I've got a pretty good imagination, and I've got 2 scripts now written. One of them is actually sort of a documentary. It looks like a documentary on Pedogate, and then it's going to turn into like a horror film. And that is something that can reach people in their homes too. So if anybody like Rosalind here or anybody else who's involved in the film industry, please, by God, reach out to me. I'm not sure if you guys have funding or whatever to create a film, but maybe you know people that do. And this would be huge. Like, one good film around this stuff could reach millions of people, much more than a flyer. But, you know, every person counts. But I'm just saying, this is the thing that is actually could prove to be obviously much larger than, you know, slipping the flyers in at the grocery store.
Yeah.
You know, you never. Well, I mean, a film person could find the shit at the grocery store and create a film anyway. But anyway, I'm just trying to say that these are different outlets to release information. You know?
Yeah, but you really don't even need money. You just need people with passion. You know what I mean?
I've never seen passion pay for a film though, unless I can say yes, I've seen passion pay for a film. With that said, money, this thing that we're battling with money, like this thing that we were battling, it has all the money. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like these people that do make these films and to stand out and that just be their part to play. So yeah, it can be done without money. Absolutely. It's a matter of the right people coming forward in order for that to happen, I think.
Well, I just with today's day and age, my iPhone is even better than my camera, and I'm a photographer too, and I make little films for work and everything else too. If you have the creativity and the passion, you can do just as any good as any Hollywood. I mean, maybe not special effects, but who really cares? Nobody wants that. That's fake. We want truth. Look at Kevin Smith.
Yeah, and someone in here, Greg Silverado, and a couple of people have been mentioning, and also it was actually the Ornery Independent who's been talking about these QR codes. I don't know if you have any of those on your flyer, Dave.
No, we don't.
Well, we need to butt heads. And actually, can you send me a link to those documentaries you were talking about yesterday? Because
I put one of them. I put one of them in the chat. It's Pizzagate and Beyond is the documentary, and I believe it's at www.pizzagateenbeyond.com.
I see, but I'm saying like we need to on all those flyers have a link, like a QR code that people can.
What should we do it to? Because I mean I can make.
Okay, it was Ben's idea. Sorry about that. I misunderstood.
I can make it a QR code. That's not a problem, you know.
Well, no, the QR codes isn't the problem, but I just don't like I have some QR codes. Like one of them is my video and one of them's not. But like my videos really aren't the best to start with, to be honest with you. I think that some of these documentaries is for someone who's just like a layman, doesn't need to see on like, hey, what's up, man? Fuck John Podesta. He's a goddamn pervert. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not gonna have the impact I want it to have, you know.
Pizzagate and Beyond, bro, is probably one of the best ones I've seen. I know my mother, she's 70 years old, and she watched it, and it's so well put together in the very first 10 minutes. She already had tears coming out of her eyes. And nice. This is the lady that I've been talking to this about for the last 6 months. I've been telling my mom about this, and finally I showed her this documentary, bro, and she, like, the first 10 minutes, it totally clicked something because it was putting mainstream media. You know, mainstream media is here to keep us asleep. They're here. They help put us to sleep. They're here to keep us asleep and push an agenda. And so if people are watching this mainstream media, they're going to be stuck in the story that they're telling. Well, they use mainstream media in the very beginning of this to sort of open someone up to the idea that the mainstream media is actually not here for your benefit. Listen to what this guy is saying. So they'll have the same guy in 2 different clips saying something like, I think it was the guy from CNN. He was doing something on Pizzagate or not Pizzagate. It was molestation of children, and he was like all in his heart and talking about it. And then when Pizzagate rolled around, he was like the non-believer, like, nah, like this ain't happening. Look, this is crazy. And so they show him in these 2 lights, and it makes something click inside, like, wow, these people are lying to us, you know. So it's put together pretty powerfully.
All right, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jamie.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, I'll link that up. I can make a QR code for that, Pizzagate and Beyond, because that sounds interesting because it comes from both perspectives.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. Also, Mr. Go Fuck Yourself just came up and said he lives near a couple universities, which is fucking awesome. And then I want to say things like this. Okay, people like Dave and I, like I do side jobs and I've got some income coming in that way. But for the most part, it's like all of my time goes to this. And even though it's not all in videos, a lot of it is just communicating with people, responding to things, passing out flyers, doing stuff like that. So there are some people who are sitting at home that have no time to put in on the computer, but you can put money in. And I know that like money is like definitely a touchy subject, and that's why I never really talk about it, because I know people like David Seaman pretty much just ruined it for everybody. Like there's no sense that this guy needs 5 months to sit in front of a computer and regurgitate what everyone else is saying. However, people like Mr. Go Fuck Yourself, if he's going to go out and pass out 100 flyers a freaking day on his time, you know, I think that like people in the community need to be buying those flyers and maybe buying his lunch while he's out doing it, you know, at the very least. And I think that's the way that this community needs to work. And then, but you know, even though it is frustrating knowing that this stuff's still going on and we haven't made any big arrests or whatever, I think that, you know, Dave and Jamie and I can attest that as frustrating as it is, sometimes when you go to bed and you know that you've done all you can do for that day to try to raise awareness, that's a good feeling. And like, again, you know, you don't really see it, but let's say you sat back and just chuck $50 at it, you're going to go to sleep having that same feeling, knowing that you were at work that day, knowing you were with your kids and you pitched in what you could, you know. And I'm not trying to get in everyone's wallet here at all. I'm just trying to say that going out and passing out flyers, it costs time, and it really costs money to print the flyers, and you got to eat something. So if you're making that your job, then we need to have other people backing the people that are doing this, you know. And this is how we're going to make a powerful impact, because a lot of us are running on fumes trying to do this. I know Dave can relate. We're out here just trying to make this thing happen with nothing. Like I got a bicycle and I go out, you know what I'm saying? Like I can only do so much over here, you know.
Yeah, same here, man. I mean, I got a job and all that shit, but I got a family and all my money's, you know, gone. But that's why I'm putting forth whatever I can, which is time consuming, yes, but I feel like it's going to help a lot. I'm trying to make this very clear, facts and basic, just kind of like lead a horse to water. I can't force you to drink it. Here it is, you know?
And at the end of the day, the person who's supposed to receive it will receive it. Like Dave said earlier, you know, if there's a guy who's walking by in a business suit and he looks at that flyer and chucks it in the garbage, you know, he wasn't the guy anyway, okay? Yeah. But you gave him a flyer and you tried. You know, you were pleasant when you handed it to him. But then there's another guy walking by that you don't even suspect it. He's got jeans on and flip-flops. Turns out this dude's an event organizer. So, you know, you got to be out there like that, and you got to accept the good with the bad. And again, everything, like I too, like Dave said earlier, I am a firm believer that everything is exactly where it's supposed to be. As hard as it is, you know, everything.
I believe that too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just I think it's order versus chaos, right? And I really feel like it's hard to see it sometimes, but sometimes you have those epiphanies like, oh, I see now that everything in my life led me to this point for this reason, right? And then there's some days where you're so lost and you're like, why is everything like this? But then again, you know, a month later you remember, oh, that's why it's like this, okay? It's always like that. It's just sometimes you can't see it, you know?
Growing pains. That is growing pains, bro. That's the growing pains we go through. Like I said in the video I did yesterday, it's like whatever may have been hurting you the worst back in your past, it's probably the reason you're here. It's probably the very purpose you're here, because that amount of pain can thrust anybody. Pain is what woke me up to the whole thing. It was the amount of pain, the suffering that I called into my own life. It finally cracked a shell inside because I didn't want to be suffering no more. So it cracked the shell, and I was like, holy cow, look at this world I'm looking at now. So I would encourage people to, if like, before you even go hand out flyers, go out and just say hello to people. Just go out and get a feel for what it's going to be like to be out there and conversating with people that are you and you just don't know. So these are people that are actually inside of you. The same thing gives us all life, regardless of what we call it. So go out and just say hello to them people. Say hello, get the feeling of what it's going to feel like to be in someone's face. And then maybe the next time step into handing a flyer to them, or, you know, just break yourself into it easy, because it is not easy to do this. It is a very fear-filled thing. Our society teaches us to look out here. This is who tells us who we are and what we are, when in reality, it's about looking inside of ourselves and going out there and bringing that thing out there, because it's not easy, and it's take baby steps into it, and I think you'll have success with it.
No, there's something else I've been thinking about. You know, like in the Matrix, when Morpheus is talking to Neo on the phone, and he's like, at the very, very beginning of the movie, and he's like, you know that there's something wrong with this world, right? You know that. And I think that, like, deep within many people, like, obviously the people that are in this conversation, in this chat, know a lot of the issues that are there. So we've already got to that point. But there was a point when we just knew something was wrong. You know? So there's a lot of people out there that are stuck in that understanding, and we're going to help them figure out exactly what's wrong with what we say to them. And also, Dave, if you want to tell me about that story you told yesterday, he had there's just, anyway, about this lady that spit on you. I mean, that's what you've got to accept, that you're going to have to encounter shit like that too, But just, could you tell everybody what happened with this lady?
There was so I'll just jump out of the car sometimes in a good spot and just start to hand out some flyers, and just throughout the day, as many as I can get out. And this lady, she spit in my face, and she was like a 60-year-old lady. And after she spit in my face, I said, "Have a great day," and she left. And then like 15 minutes later, she came back and just shared with me that it actually happened to her when she was younger. She was molested when she was younger, and when she started to hear what I was talking about, it was just like something clicked, and she spit, and she apologized, and we shared a hug, and I told her I understand as much as I can. I'm just out here attempting to shine some light on this darkness that we have in our world. And so stuff like that comes, but I understand where it was coming from. It was coming from a place within inside of her that's hurting. Like, it's not able to talk about this stuff because these individuals are told, don't say nothing about this. This is something that is one of the deepest, darkest secrets that humanity has, is this thing known as pedophilia or child molestation, or whatever anyone wants to call it. But it is in all forms of government, all forms of like Hollywood. All of this stuff has it in it. It's not to say everyone is involved in it. It is to say that it is a tool that is used to suppress us or keep us oppressed and depressed, to where we're just reaching up for things we need, man. And it's got to stop. And we're the ones that have to stop it. We have to stand up and stop it. We can't expect Donald Trump or anyone else in government to do this. We can expect them people to start standing up and backing the people, not other politicians. Like, if politicians will stand behind this thing, if they know it's the truth, and start walking in that, I mean, we'll see some shit, because this system is breaking, brother. This system is breaking, and the only way to make it through it is to acknowledge this thing that is here. Or we can just turn our heads and go, their kid's getting molested, it ain't my kid. When who knows when it can be your kid. So it's like, it has to do with our future. The children are our future, and let's stand up for them. I apologize, I went on a little bit.
No. I don't even know why. It was just, I just read something and I just wanted to say it. Like, I'm just the worst, dude. I've got like such fucking ADD. But like, but no, Tanuki said, and this is a very good point. It was like, the three of us are kind of tattooed up and scary looking, right? So it is sort of off-putting for your average Joe walking down the street. So if anybody, but again, when you look at it, like when I go back to the gymnasium analogy, obviously the dude that's all tattooed up looking all mean is going to be the first one to be like, fuck you, officer, so like, that's that. But then other people have to get involved, and not everyone that gets involved should look like this. Maybe the first one, but like some of you guys that got polo shirts on and stuff and wearing khaki pants, please help us go pass out flyers, because I promise you, like, old ladies are much more apt to talk to you and receive information from you.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And there was another thing Dave and I were talking about last night. Dave brought up a huge point, and that's that especially, but just in general, we are duped into this idea that we are powerless, and that any sort of movement is just doesn't stand up to the big thing that is the government, right? And it's just so untrue. And as soon as we break free and understand that we call the government is essentially about 1,000 people, right? All added up. So let's say that all of the citizens turned on the government, right? Including the military. Then you're talking millions and millions of people versus 1,000 old perverts, right? So for us to be duped into the idea that we are the ones that would lose that battle is complete nonsense and brainwash. And we really got to wake up to our own power, you know? And Dave said it too. It's like we need to do, like, you know, the challenge, like a water challenge or a cold shower challenge or whatever. How about turn off your TV for 2-week challenge or for 2 days challenge? Yeah, what's going to happen to your your psyche?
Yeah, because it's the trap. It's one of the greatest tools that they use to keep us as a species asleep to everything. You know, the television is by far one of the greatest tools they use to keep us asleep. It is a two-step process. The TV opens you up, and whatever the programming is, your subconscious takes in that programming. So my father, he watches old war battles and old history, the History Channel, where people are blowing each other up. And so as my dad's taking this stuff in, like this, all of this is going into a collective. You know, we ain't just receiving this and then it just ends with us. So then my dad takes on that stuff, and then guess how he is to my mom a half hour later when she's sitting there basically waiting on him because he can't do anything for himself. Like, he's ignorant to her then. So that stuff that he is taking in, this death and destruction, it now gets pushed towards my mom, and she's taking care of him. This is happening with Dancing with the Stars, everything that you can imagine. They have all these stars on there that are these Hollywood stars, and these Hollywood stars, there's many of them that are just as guilty as these politicians for doing this stuff. So, and people are asleep paying these people millions of dollars to get on here and entertain them, when in the background there's friggin' doing stuff to children. You know, it's like, it's crazy to continue to see it. But we have to just turn the TVs off. Turn the TVs off for 2 weeks and watch how greatly your life will improve. I promise you, your life will improve by far more than it ever has, because it's keeping you asleep as a spiritual being, as something that can be awake and actually be conscious of what's going on. And we're just doing the best we can, all of us, and just keep encouraging people to take the little baby steps to walk out of the deep sleep that we're in. Because when we walk out of that thing, our numbers simply say that we win. There's no way that we can't. You just mentioned it. Our numbers say that we win. There's almost 8 billion people on the earth. Guess how many of them ain't molesting children? And guess how many of them care about children? It simply says we win if we wake up, you know? So that's what our job is, I think.
Right.
Yeah. We're right where we need to be.
Right where we need to be. Absolutely. Right where we need to be, brother.
All right.
Well, I need to be back at work.
No, I'm gonna start, down. I think we got key points out. And again, I mean, first of all, let me just reiterate, everybody who wants to be a part of this, first of all, put in the comments what city you're in. Second of all, reach out or follow the link we're gonna post to Jamie's chat, because this is the place where we can rapid fire communicate. Like, the comments is just so slow as far as, like, you say something, I say something back 5 hours later, whatever. So come over to the chat, ever in the Truth Army chat.
Yeah.
And again, we're going to start, like, just getting into groups, getting into different people. Hell, if you work at the grocery store, we just gave you a perfect example. And I think anybody can sort of build upon that idea, because, if you think about it, if you're a bag boy at a grocery store, you almost feel like the most, helpless person in all of this. And in fact, you could be the most powerful person in all of this.
Yes, absolutely, brother.
So anyway, I don't know if you guys got anything to say. I mean, I'm not really in a rush or anything.
All right.
I just don't want the people that have come on to be intimidated by an hour and a half chat.
I'm gonna hop off, head back to work, but I'll pop the chat in the. Can I pop it in the comments? Will it let me?
No, just send it to me. You can send it to me right here in this little group thing right here on the, you know, the group chat on the Hangouts. Can you do that?
All right. Yeah, I can do that. I'll do
but
that.
Also, I'll just put it in the link in the no. Put it in the comments on the video after we press stop, and I'll pin it as the top comment.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Gotcha. All right, guys.
Jay, it's good to see you, brother.
Having me. I love it. You too. I love you both. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, much love. See you, man. All right, Dave, you got anything else, bro?
And I just want to thank everybody that was in the chat with us. Any comments? You know, it's like this is all sort of new to me. So if anyone said anything over there, regardless of what it was, I appreciate your comments. And for all of you that are doing, going out there and actually being the change that you want to see, I just I honor you and I thank you so much for not only myself but for the future generations of children, because it's you guys that are. It's you guys that are doing it and going out there and being it. So like you said earlier, you said type your city in there. I would encourage, I don't know how many people are in there right now, but encourage exactly that, is type the city in that you're in. And if you see anyone else from the city you're in, like reach out to that person. Like reach out to that person and start going, okay, what can we join together here? Because it's not the first person. Me and you, Jay Noir, talked about last night. It's not the first person that goes out and starts to dance. It's the second person that joins them that lets everyone else know, okay, maybe this is all right. So go out there, and I encourage you to look for people in your community that are doing anything with sex trafficking, that are doing anything with any type of thing where humanity is sort of moving into another space. And most likely, if people are involved in it that are being dogged out, that the person they're dogging out is probably on the track of something that's pretty awesome. Because this darkness doesn't want to see this light come out, and we're all a beam of light, and just keep being that light, everyone. I encourage everyone to do that, and thank you.
Dave, you just put me on another thing that's huge. And again, it's like there's a lot of people and a lot of issues that have come out over the history of humanity, and nobody's really got bucked up about that, right? So, you know, for us, obviously, the thing that makes us actually, like, you know, with 9/11, right? I didn't really feel like going out and passing out flyers about 9/11 to create a revolution, right? So I admit that, even though we should have then, right? But also there are a lot of people who aren't anywhere near the pedo gate train, right? So we want to make sure that we don't corner our market as far as people joining the army. So we need to start combining combining our movement with other movements, and that's how we're going to see numbers too, you know. Maybe even make like 1 or 2 different flyers to take with you. One could be pedo gate focused, and one could just be focused on just a broad general understanding about where the financial system's going right now.
Yes.
You know?
That's beautiful, brother. And can I say real quickly, because you threw me off, for anything that's called a conspiracy theory, I encourage anyone to take a look at that, because that very phrase was created. This is something that was sent out by the CIA to keep people from looking at the JFK assassination. So if you hear the word conspiracy theory, don't look at the individuals as these tinfoil hat wearing, because each one of us in some way, shape, or form have looked at a conspiracy theory, and many of them, or a lot of them that I look at, I come to find them as being the truth. So if you're seeing other people, humanity is waking up, and we're all waking up from different things. There's a lot of people on flat earth. There's a lot of people on 9/11 still, which is, I mean, 9/11 was a screwed up thing. So I'm expecting people to be on there until the truth actually comes out about it. And I don't think we've heard the truth. And so reach out and start looking at these with an open heart and an open mind. And who knows where you'll go with it. You might actually find out that the earth is flat. You might actually find out that 9/11 was our government, or was whoever. And I encourage people to don't dog people out just because they are believing in something. I encourage you to open your heart, open your mind, and look at it a little deeper yourself and ask questions about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I really don't love the flat earth theory. However, there are a lot of people that are really passionate about that, and it wouldn't be a bad idea to sort of, you know, recruit some of the more intelligent and enlightened individuals over from that group. Also, I want to say that I haven't been spat upon. However, I have been, you know, looked at like a fool, and people just, like, you know, treat me like a douchebag for trying to hand out flyers and stuff. But, you know, let Dave be an example. Like, get spit on for the kids, because it's not that getting spit on is the thing, but don't be afraid to get spit on for the kids, you know. Like, don't be afraid to be humiliated for a good cause, because it's not going to hurt you at the end of the day. You know, it may make you frustrated. It may feel like you're sort of beating your head against the wall, but just know that that wall you're beating your head against is the wall that we need to be focused on. And the more people that beat their head against it, eventually we're going to break the damn thing down. So,
absolutely.
Anyway, and also everybody that's in the chat, God, I mean, everybody's in the chat. I know all these people. Like, I've really gotten to know all these damn people.
Yeah, they're awesome.
So again, everybody who's not already in Jamie's chat, we're going to put the link up there. I'm going to give you a link to Dave's channel and Jamie's channel and Ghost's channel, even though she didn't jump on. But, you know, just go over there and sub these guys. You know, it's encouraging. And also, all of you guys who have something to say, don't be afraid to start your own channel. Just tell us you started your own channel, and we'll, you know, it doesn't seem like much when you have no subs, but when you have people like myself and Jamie and Dave, and we're all like helping each other, you know, get our words out there, you know, you'll see your channels grow pretty fast. You can ask Fred over Upper Bandwidth. He went from like 50 subs to 500 subs, I want to say, in like a 24-hour period. So, you know, anyway, you know, I don't want anyone to feel like they are just too small for themselves to count, because I think that every person, especially Dave and myself, have had that same thought, and we just can't, you know, you feel small, but then it's like, I can't even sleep at night knowing that this shit's going on. I want to be involved, you know, and I think that
get away from it, bro. It's an addiction to free children from this world. It's like, I cannot think of anything else. I lost, like, my business gone, you know, the reality shattered. And it's like, man, I couldn't, I tried to put myself back to sleep with drugs and alcohol, and I couldn't do it. I could not turn away from this thing. And it's like, all right, man, I'm just going to get off this stuff and move forward with it. And it's a daily struggle. So whatever you're going through, man, it's you got people around you who care about you, regardless if I know you or not. I have the best intentions for your life, and I hope that you have all good happen to you, regardless of who you are. And know that you got people around you going through some of the same things, and reach out, because I'm down to talk to anybody about anything that has any movement towards positivity with what we're going through right now. So much love to all of you out there.
Yeah, much love to you all. And again, go to Jamie's chat. We're probably going to set up different rooms in that chat. We'll set up a room that Dave's going to be in charge of. And anyway, just thanks so much, everyone, for listening, and everyone who's going to see this later. And I just want to apologize one more time for being a fucking asshole, and really thank everybody for being there and sticking with me through all the fucking bad attitudes. And sometimes and Dave knows, dude, sometimes, like, I'll just get pissed off and, like, I don't even respond to my phone for 2 days and shit, you know. So, you know, I apologize to everyone who thinks that I'm just, you know, falling off or no longer involved or don't care. And it's not that. I don't have the patience you have, bro. So I get triggered, and you know,
it's heavy stuff, man. And we all we gotta learn our ways through it. The growing pains. Your brother, you've grown just from last night and me talking to you. So, like, well, you're going through growing pains.
Dude, it was like, yeah, I think I've got that second wind. You know, I think that going through all this frustration with the trolls and shit, just, you know, it gave me a chance to vent and get some shit out. But then now that I've, you know, taken a deep breath, I realize, like, I'm getting so far off track. Not to mention, the reason why it's frustrating is because we really don't have a plan. And but then it's exciting to think we can formulate a plan together. I mean, I'm throwing out my ideas, but if you guys want to add to those, that's what the fuck we're here for, you know. And it's going to be a beautiful thing. I think that we just need to remain positive and start joining together, and not just here on YouTube and in the comments. I'm encouraging everyone who's watching YouTube, instead of taking it like me saying, fuck you, you're just on the couch. I worded that wrong. I meant to say, if you're on the couch and you're watching YouTube, you can do something. Reach out to us in the chat, reach out to us wherever, and from there we can determine who can do what and what their skill set is, you know. So anyway, Dave, thank you so much for coming on, dude. I mean,
thank you, brother. Absolutely.
All right, and everybody who's in the chat, much love, and everybody who's watching this later, there's just so much love, man. I mean, I'm sorry fuck it, I'll cuss, but, like, the love is just oozing out of me toward all of you guys. I hope you can feel it.
Beautiful, brother. That's what we are. That's what we're made of. Love is what we're made of, bro.
All right, cool. I'm logging off. You guys.